Lots of Titans news today as the Titans trim their roster down to their initial 53-man roster. We will go over what the depth chart looks like right now and what notable players were cut. Also, the Titans made big news when they traded for linebacker Ernest Jones from the Rams. Guys, stay tuned. A lot in this video, and I can't wait to get into it. Hey Titans fans, how's it going? Titan Uprising here. Thank you for tuning in. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. I do notice that a lot of my viewers are new subscribers, so if you guys can, hit the subscribe button. You don't even have to hit the notifications if you don't want to. Just help another Titans fan out if you can. It will help me out greatly, and I appreciate it. My goal is to get to 750 subscribers before the season starts. So if you can, help me out, please do. I appreciate you. I appreciate every single person that's been with me and subscribed. And it's been a long journey. Shouldn't say long journey. We've been doing this for a little over a year. I do look forward to it. I enjoy it. And I like hearing your guys' feedback. So let's get into this video. We're going to go into the roster cuts right now. And I'm not going to break down every single one of them, but mainly the guys that would have stood out, or guys that we might have thought made the team, or guys that were semi-high draft picks in the previous regime with J-Rob. But let's get into them, okay? Now, the first guy here is Caleb Farley, which I think is the biggest name that we cut today. He hasn't been able to stay very healthy, and the writing was kind of on the wall. It's sad that he couldn't stay healthy, and what happened with his father being in that house explosion last year, and he passed away. That sucks. That definitely had him taking a step back on top of his health already. Then you have to worry about his mental health. I wish nothing but the best for this guy. This was a reach when we did draft him because, J-Rob, he always, once he hit on Simmons, I feel like that one time where a guy was hurt and he ended up being very productive, I feel like he would always take gambles on guys that had injury history because he hit one time. You can't have that be your strategy going forward, and he did do that with Caleb Farley, who had back issues in college. I'm sorry, but back issues, that's scary. It is. I mean, I feel like once your back has already had surgeries and it's already shot, I don't know. I don't think that's a thing that you can come back from. And, the injury history is there, and he just can't stay healthy. I wish him all the best, but a former first-round pick, you got to think someone's either going to scoop him up, but likely what's going to happen is what we hope will happen is we would hope to keep him on the practice squad. Maybe we can continue to develop him with, we do have a better coaching staff. Let's be honest. We do. We're developing guys like Malik Willis. He was traded and he looked better this year than he has every year before because they actually know how to coach these guys finally. And it's just amazing that we have good coaching now. Now let's get into the next guy, and that is Hassan Haskins. And Hassan Haskins had the off-field issues last year, which I was surprised that they even kept him because of that. But they did. And I was curious, as you guys, have been following me here, I wasn't sure what was going to happen. Are we going to keep Hassan Haskins? Are we going to keep Julius Chestnut? And, not to play spoiler here, but Chestnut did make the roster, and Haskins didn't. He got cut. Now, Haskins, he was a great special teamer. He really was. And I was curious to see if that was going to make him a lock on the roster. And something that I'm noticing by the cuts and the guys that we kept, that the Titans truly stood pat on their philosophy of keeping the best players. And I like that. It's like drafting the best player available. And they did that with their roster cuts and their initial 53-man roster. And we'll get into the next guy, and that is Trey Avery. Now, Trey Avery, we've seen him on the field a ton as Titans fans, and it wasn't always for a good reason. When you hear a corner's name a lot, it's usually not good unless he's picking the ball off, because if you hear the name a lot, it's usually because he got beat by the wide receiver that he was going up against. So that's why we got to know Trey Avery's name so much. He was serviceable at times at best when he was in there. He definitely got roasted and burnt in preseason, and I kind of had a feeling this guy was gone. Sucks. Maybe he can continue to develop. I have a feeling this guy will end up on the practice squad. But that's a name that everybody might, be familiar with. And remember, corners, if you hear the name all the time, it's usually because they're getting burnt. Unless you're like a Sauce Gardner, just because you're that good. Now, next guy we will get into is Mason Kinsley. Now, he's been with the Titans for years, and everyone's saying, you can't get rid of him. He's always there. It's funny. There's gifs going around about him and memes, and it's funny. I don't think it'll be interesting to see if he gets picked up by somebody else, but I think he ends up being a practice squad guy. He does the right things, but I don't, the wide receiver talent now on this team is actually kind of heavy for once, which is awesome. So I wasn't too surprised to see that cut, but it is a name that everybody's going to notice and it is familiar. Also, he's more of a slot guy, and I think Burks is going to be mainly taking over that, and then we have Boyd as well. So I just don't think there's room on the roster. And then plus, like I said, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but we did keep Carice Jackson as well. So, I don't really, not Carice Jackson, Jaquan Jackson, my bad. And I don't really think that there's just room for another slot receiver like Mason Kinsley. Now, let's get into the last guy that I really thought was noteworthy, and that is kicker Braden Narveson. Now, the reason being is because he made a 59-yard field goal in preseason. Other teams, obviously, when you're playing the preseason, you're not just auditioning for the team that you're playing on, you're also auditioning for other teams. So when other teams see this guy kicking a 59-yard field goal, makes me think this guy's not going to make it to the practice squad, which I would love for him to do, because Nick Folk's 39 years old, and I don't believe he can make a 59-yard field goal, maybe on his best day, but he's 39. I don't think he has a leg for it. Prove me wrong, Nick Folk, during the season. I would love to see Narveson stay on this team on the practice squad. By the way, on the way home from work, I usually do listen to Sirius radio on the NFL channel, and something that was brought up today, I can't think of the guy that mentioned it, but he used to be an NFL GM, and he mentioned how another GM he learned from said, if you want to keep a guy in the practice squad, pay him a lot more than what you're paying your other guys, and maybe they'll stick around. Not a bad idea. I mean, I don't know how much you really want to pay a kicker to sit on the practice squad, but I think this guy can be special in a few years, and I'm hoping we made the right call. I really do. But, Nick Folk is he was the highest, I think, field goal percentage kicker last year. So you don't really want to miss out on having that guy. So I get it. Play safe, be smart. You got to play safe on the kicking position, because Titans have definitely had their kicking woes over the years. We finally have stability there. I get it. Don't gamble on that position, but I'm hoping Narveson sticks to the practice squad, because I want this guy on the team in the next couple of years. Hopefully we can keep him, but you're not going to take 2 spots on the 53-man roster for 2 kickers. So yeah, that's the initial cuts. If I missed somebody that you guys thought was more noteworthy, please comment down below, let me know. Now, the next thing we will get into here is the 53-man roster, and I will pull that up for you guys right now. And now, by the way, this does not include linebacker Ernest Jones, and we will get into him later, the guy the Titans traded for. Now, quarterbacks here, 2 quarterbacks, Will Levis, Mason Rudolph, obviously with the Malik Willis trade yesterday, so no surprise there as the 2 quarterbacks. The 3 running backs, Tyjae Spears, Tony Pollard, and Julius Chestnut. Now, the camp battle that I was talking about for the majority of the offseason was between Tony Pollard and Julius Chestnut, my bad, I read that wrong. Between Julius Chestnut and Hassan Haskins. Now, Hassan Haskins did not make the cut. I was nervous that, when you watch these guys play, Haskins is by far the better special teamer, but Chestnut is the better running back. I'd rather keep the better running back. If one of those guys gets hurt, you have another guy that can go in and play running back at a better, higher level. Missing Haskins on the special teams unit is going to suck. And I really don't think Haskins will get claimed. I think he ends up on the practice squad. Tons of running backs floating around out there. So we kept 2 quarterbacks, 3 running backs, wide receivers, we kept 6. D-Hop, Kelvin Ridley, Tyler Boyd, Traylon Burks, NWI, no real surprise there. Jaquan Jackson, definitely the kick returner, punt returner that we have here. Love that guy. Tyjae Spears, college teammate there, which is I love even more. I believe they both came out of Tulane. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. Love that guy. He's a burner too. He's fast. He's quick. Definitely could be a little slot corner for us, slot wide receiver for us, and I do love that. Now, one of the surprises here is tight end. We kept 5 tight ends. Now, something I said earlier was the Titans truly did decide to go with the best players they had on the team and keep the best players they had. I was nervous, or not nervous. I was thinking about whether they would keep 3 to 4 tight ends. They kept 5. Okonkwo, obvious. Josh Wiley, obvious. And then after that, we weren't really sure. Nick Vanett, off-season addition. He had that really good screen pass on the last preseason game, which we played. And David Martin Robinson, who's been killing it in preseason. And then Thomas Odukoya, who's also been awesome. These guys have been great. They've shown talent. They've shown flashes. The fact that we kept these guys, I like it. Now, do I think maybe one of these guys gets cut after, in the next few days? It's likely. If they trim a spot in the roster, I think it's going to be tight end. And I don't know who that would be. I really am a David Martin Robinson DMR. I really am a fan of his. I like to see them keep him for sure because he's shown he has capability. And I really do like him. But I do think this is the group to look at if the Titans decide, to claim someone else off waivers, or when Ernest Jones comes in, because Ernest Jones has to pass his physical, and that's why he's not on the list above. And when he does pass it, one of these guys is gonna get knocked off the roster. So I think that if we expect any trimming here to one position to add somebody else, I foresee it being tight end. And we'll see if I'm right on that or not. Offensive lineman, we kept 9, which I think is good. J.C. Latham, obviously, Peter Skoronski, Lloyd Cushenberry, Dylan Radins, NPF, Daniel Brunskill, Jalen Duncan, Andrew Rupkich, and John Ojukwu. So, after, you have Latham, obviously, starter, Skoronski starter, Cushenberry starter, Radins, NPF starters. Brunskill's definitely the best backup we have. He's very rotational. Jalen Duncan, I think he could be serviceable as a tackle. You don't want him starting numerous games. He has a lot of raw potential. And then Andrew Rupkich and John Ojukwu, those are guys that they're capable backups. You don't really want them starting too many games, so hopefully our starting line stays healthy the entire season. Knock on wood. And, I don't see us cutting any linemen. I really don't. I guess if they did, it'd be one spot, obviously, but I don't know. Maybe Ojukwu? I don't know. I like that 9 players on the offensive line. I really do. Defensive line, Jeffrey Simmons, obviously, Devondre Sweat, Sebastian Day, and then SJD, we can call him, and then Keandre Coburn. So no really surprises there. We're pretty thin at defensive line, in my opinion. We really need these guys to stay healthy, and we need these guys to be solid contributors. I'm just a little nervous about the defensive line we have. Not a great rotation there. SJD's been good, but we're gonna have to get a lot out of Coburn there. So let's hope we can. Edge, Harold Landry, Arden Key, Jalen Harrell, Rashad Weaver, and Caleb Murphy. No real surprises there. Landry and Key are the starters. Jalen Harrell, who has just been flashing potential and just showcasing that he's a steal in the draft in the preseason. I love Jalen Harrell, guys. Really do. Rashad Weaver and Caleb Murphy, good rotational guys. You don't want them seeing the ball a lot or seeing the field a ton. Rashad Weaver, I remember he dropped back into coverage in his preseason game. Don't ever want to see that again. Not at all. Linebacker, we kept 6 linebackers. Kenneth Murray, Jack Gibbons, James Williams, Otis Reese, Luke Gifford, Cedric Gray. Linebacker will go from 6 to 7 unless they cut one of those guys when Ernest Jones comes on the team. I like all those guys too. Murray's a starter. He'll be the starter with Ernest Jones. Jack Gibbons will be a solid backup. James Williams is just learning the linebacker role as he's transitioning from a safety. I like Otis Reese. I like Luke Gifford. Luke Gifford's a great special teamer. I don't see us getting rid of Luke Gifford. And Cedric Gray is a rookie that I'm very high on. I think he played for UNC last year that we drafted in the draft this year. And he's been banged up and hurt. And I don't want to see him off the squad. I can't see us cutting any of those linebackers. I really can't. Luke Gifford's just awesome on special teams, and you do need some good special teams players. You truly do. I do like that linebacking core, but it's gonna be interesting to see what they do when Ernest Jones comes in. Where are they gonna take the spot from? Cornerbacks, we have L'Jarius Sneed, Chidobe Awuzie, Roger McCreary, and Jarvis Brownlee. No surprises there. Keeping four corners. Now, something that this defense is telling me here is, or what we're keeping here on defense, I should say, we're going to play a lot of mix here with safeties and linebackers. We're going to be, something that Denard Wilson likes to do with his defense is, he has a lot of safeties and good safeties, and same thing with linebackers. We have some great shutdown corners. I'm really high on Jarvis Brownlee. I really am. I think he's going to be a great corner. McCreary's great, and then Cheeto and LJS, L'Jarius Sneed are great pickups in the offseason. Obviously, we signed Cheeto and then we traded for Sneed. But no, that's a great cornerback unit right there. And, you know, when they interchange with safety, which we did keep 5 safeties, you can kind of put 3 safeties on the field. And I think there will be a lot of times 3 safeties on the field. And the safeties are Quandre Diggs, Amani Hooker, Jamal Adams, Elijah Molden, and Mike Brown. I like all those safeties. I really do. If a guy gets cut out of there, I probably would think it'd be Mike Brown. I don't think it'd be Elijah Molden. Like I said, guys, there's going to be someone that probably gets trimmed out of here, maybe a couple people. I'm just trying to look ahead and see where they would trim from. Maybe safety. Maybe safety. If I had to guess, it'd be safety, maybe linebacker, but not sure who they go with, and then maybe a tight end. Only spots that really stick out. Maybe edge, but I don't like that either. I mean, I guess you could put a linebacker rotate at edge as well, you know. So maybe somebody at edge, maybe like Murphy or Weaver. But I like those guys. I don't know. This is tough. So they're gonna this roster is going to change, guys. It'll be interesting to see how it does. And special teams, we have 3 players: Nick Folk, Ryan Stonehouse, and you know the best long snapper I think in the NFL, Morgan Cox, who we stole away from the Ravens a few years back, and love that this guy's on the team. Great special teams, long snapper there. Now, that's not going to change. Those 3 are sticking around. Those 3, and then the quarterbacks, I think, are for sure locks. Not touching those at all. The special team guys and the quarterbacks, I think, are locks for sure. You know, like I said, I think running backs is a lock for sure. I'm really trying to think of where they would take someone from. So let me know what you guys think down below on that, because, you know, they will trim this roster by a couple players, probably to add a couple players, and then definitely trim one person off to add Ernest Jones. So definitely something to look at, something to keep an eye on. Now, guys, let's get into Ernest Jones. And the Titans traded a 5th-round pick for Ernest Jones, and the Rams traded Ernest Jones, obviously, and a 6th-round pick. What a deal. Ran, you are just cooking this entire offseason. I love what Ran is doing. I love Ran is already becoming one of the best GMs that the Titans have ever had, and he's only in his 2nd season. This guy is amazing in what he's doing. And I'll let you know why, because I'm going to pop up a graphic for you guys here. Last season, Ernest Jones had a 78.8 PFF grade, which was 13th overall among linebackers, which is it's just a great linebacker, guys. He had an 86.2 run grade, which was tied for 7th. He had an 83.1 pass rush grade, which was 6th. And he had 18 tackles for loss, which was tied for 4th. And he was number 1 with 30 pressures. This guy can get after it. This guy, man, I love it. I really love it. Great player to get. I think he was actually pretty vital just in his rookie season with the Rams and you know, helping them win their Super Bowl in that Super Bowl season they had. I definitely remember him being like, man, that guy's flashing. He's only a rookie. And man, we have him on the team. Now, pairing him up with Kenneth Murray, man, we have 2 linebackers that are speedy, that are fast, that can move, that can cover, that can get after it. I love the athleticism on this defense, the speed on this defense. These are linebackers that can go sideline to sideline. They can get after it, get into the backfield. I love that we did not give up much for him either. We swapped 5th and 6th round picks and we got Ernest Jones. I mean, come on. What a steal. I read some Rams articles and they were like, why would you guys do this? I mean, I know he's in the final year of his rookie deal, but I mean, he's obviously going to be looking to get paid a little bit too, which I'm okay with. Pay him. I mean, maybe you wait till the end of the season and pay him. I don't know, but I imagine, you know, for him they gave him permission yesterday to seek a trade, which sounded like it caught him off guard. But it's awesome that he picked Tennessee, probably because he saw that there was an opening to be a starter, you know, especially because we had lack of depth at linebacker after Chance Campbell got hurt. Remember, he's had a hell of a preseason. Now he's on the IR, so that sucks. We really needed the linebacker help. I was actually going to make a video about the 53-man roster and say that our biggest hole was linebacker, but we went out and we got Jones. So, yeah, Ran, keep cooking, buddy. I love it. guys, I'm thrilled. I can't remember an offseason that we've made so many moves. Just to break some of it down, like big ones. Like went out and got Kelvin Ridley, got Tyler Boyd, signed big name center Lloyd Cushenberry. We went and traded for L'Jarius Sneed, LJS he wants to be called. We signed Cheeto, got Jamal Adams, got Quandre Diggs. I mean, and then we traded for Jones here. This is big. Got Tony Pollard. Now we have like a 1A, 1B punch between Pollard and Spears. I'm loving this. I really am. And, they're really saying, hey, Will Levis, let's see what you got. They have cap room. They have a guy on his rookie contract at quarterback that they truly believe in. The Titans were one of the best offenses in the preseason. I don't care if you guys say it's preseason or not. It's coaching. It's guys playing the sport. I'd rather them be one of the best in the preseason than one of the worst. And they won 3 games in the preseason, which shows me that they want to win. They know how to win already as a young team. I know it's just preseason, but guys, I'd rather have them go 3-0 than 0-3. I don't know who would disagree with that. I know it's easy to knock, hey, it's just preseason. I get that. But to me, it means something, and it obviously means something to the players and the coaches. And guys, if you're ever okay with losing, I'm not okay with it. I want them to go out and win. And I'm so excited for this team. And it leads me to another question. If you guys have hopefully stayed with me for all, 22 minutes of this video, I'm really getting itchy to buy something Titans related. I don't know whether it's a hat. I have some figurines back there, but I'm not sure if I want to add another one yet. Maybe a little mini helmet. Definitely looking at maybe a jersey. I was definitely looking at a Snead jersey after his interview that he had. If you guys have not checked that out, just Google the L'Jarius Snead interview. It's within the past couple of days. Man, that's a great video to watch. It's around 30 minutes or so. I listened to it on my way to work one day and then my way home because it's only 15 minutes to work and back. So guys, what do you think? What should I get? Let me know. And let me know what you think about the video down below. Is there something I missed? What do you think about the 53-man roster? Who do you think we will end up cutting to make room for Ernest Jones? Or who do you think, who else should we get that got cut from another team? I didn't even get into that. So guys, let me know what you think down below. And as always, tighten up.